Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today. In today's episode, we are going back to a case that we've been covering 8 months ago. And I've not done a video on it since, but there's been a major development. Harmony Montgomery. Little girl went missing, but it took 2 years before law enforcement got involved. And so we're going to be diving into this story. And I will warn you, if you get very sensitive about stories around kids and abuse, my first encouragement is please step up, speak out to end child abuse. My second thing is this is going to be a tough story to share if you're not too familiar with, or should I say a tough story for you to take in if you're not too familiar with the Harmony Montgomery story. Let's go ahead and dive into it, why don't we? The father of missing Harmony Montgomery has been charged with her murder. Authorities would share this on October 24th, which was just yesterday of this video. Nearly 3 years after the 5-year-old's disappearance. Now, Harmony Montgomery, she vanished sometime in late November or early December of 2019, but cops were only made aware of her disappearance last fall. An investigation that was led by the FBI subsequently ensued and led cops to arrest Adam Montgomery in January of 2022 in connection with a second-degree assault charge involving his daughter prior to her disappearance. And during a Monday afternoon briefing, again, this would be yesterday, October 24th, New Hampshire State Court, Montgomery, who had yet to be charged in the disappearance, was hit with the charges by New Hampshire Attorney General John Formella. And speaking to the court, Formella would accuse Montgomery, who's 31 years old, of causing the death of his daughter during that encounter by repeatedly striking Harmony in the head with a closed fist at his home in Manchester, New Hampshire. As a result, the jurist said he is now charged with second-degree murder. Other counts against the accused child killer include falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with a witness. The proceedings further revealed this information, and the bombshell disclosure was several months in the making and serves as the first indication from investigators that Harmony, as many suspected, was murdered. It also comes 4 months after members of the FBI stormed Montgomery's home, hauling out evidence, including a fridge from the apartment. Now, Harmony, she had lived with her father and his convict wife, Kayla Montgomery, in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. And for Mr. Formella, the attorney, he said, I do want to again express my deepest sympathies to Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones. This is according to Attorney General Formella, who said this at the news conference Monday, October 25th, after making the revelations. And he would say, we understand that today's news, while significant for purposes of this investigation, is yet another difficult moment for those who loved Harmony and those who have followed this case. Formella added that Montgomery will be arraigned on these new charges today, October 25th. And authorities investigating the highly publicized case made waves in August when they declared they were investigating the New Hampshire girl's disappearance as a homicide after learning of it just months before, despite her disappearing more than 2 years earlier. And at the time, without elaborating, authorities said they believed Harmony was murdered in Manchester in early December 2019. And that's where, as they were sharing, a lot of us have been following this case. And I don't know her personally, but I love this little girl. I feel so bad for this little girl. So many have failed her. Her biological mother failed her. Her father failed her. Her stepmother failed her. Child Protective Services failed her multiple times. So they are right. A lot of us have been following this case. And those assertions, they seem to be linked to the aforementioned search of the rental apartment that the Montgomerys had called home just days before Harmony's proposed disappearance in June. Now, cops had then been seen removing evidence, including a full-sized refrigerator from the Manchester home, as they're taking a bunch of stuff out, as well as a plethora of other items that were covered up in various packaging. And authorities, they didn't share what sparked the search. This is the second in a matter of months of the property, which authorities did not learn of until just weeks before engaging in the operations. Now, officials at the time, however, did concede that the Union Street home had become the focus of the investigation. And Montgomery, he has been in jail since January in connection with a second-degree assault charge involving little Harmony Montgomery, his daughter, including failing to have her in his custody and endangering her welfare. In April, he was hit with further charges of stealing a rifle and a shotgun before Harmony's disappearance. His estranged wife, she has been charged with welfare fraud after taking out food stamps in the child's name after she was last seen alive. And this is Kayla Montgomery, the wife of Adam Montgomery. And little Harmony, she was blind in one eye, and she was in her father's care at the time of her disappearance after her mother, pictured here, Crystal Sorey, lost custody in July of 2018 due to substance abuse issues. Now, on January 4th, investigators descended on the home and the abandoned apartment complex's garden after learning of its existence from a witness tip, with aerial footage at the time showing a crime scene tent set up in the backyard, as you can see right here. And in June, authorities repeated this course of action with forensics teams scouring the home and removing what looked to be almost all of its contents. The search saw the lawmen, many wearing protective plastic suits, repeatedly enter the apartment and exit with items that likely served as evidence in the case, most of them packed away in tape and cardboard. And law enforcement officials were again seen setting up a green privacy tent during the search, which attracted crowds of curious residents who have been left wondering about Harmony's fate, so that investigators could pack the materials discreetly. The fridge, as you can see in this picture that I mentioned earlier, however, likely due to its size, was rolled out and wrapped outside with the press capturing it on film, leading many to wonder if perhaps the little girl's remains had been inside. Now, police have yet to confirm whether her remains were inside, with October 24th reveal being the first murder charge leveled after nearly a year of investigating. And investigators, they revealed earlier this year that Harmony had been homeless and living out of a car with her family in the days before her disappearance after being evicted from the Union Street apartment on November 27th, which is a date that falls within the span of the girl's disappearance. During that time, Harmony's family was either living out of a silver 2010 Chrysler Sebring or a dark blue 2006 Audi S4. Now, Adam, meanwhile, who had come under suspicion of caseworkers of abusing Harmony in the months before her disappearance, was arrested more than 2 years later in January 2022, shortly after police were made aware of Harmony's vanishing. Now, he was arrested on multiple counts related to his daughter's disappearance, including felony second-degree assault, one misdemeanor charge of interference with custody, and two misdemeanor charges of endangering the welfare of a child, but was not charged with her disappearance. Now, he did plead not guilty, and he was jailed in New Hampshire without bail, where he has remained ever since. He was also hit with more unrelated charges in April after he allegedly stole a rifle and a shotgun between September 29th and October 3rd of 2019, mere weeks before Harmony was last seen. It has since been revealed he was also considered a suspect in the February 2008 killing of Darling Guzman, a 28-year-old computer repairman who was fatally shot in the parking lot of a convenience store in Lynn, Massachusetts. Now, Adam, who has a criminal record that goes back at least to 2007, he has been in jail since January in connection with the second-degree assault charge. Now, relatives have accused Adam Montgomery of abusing Harmony, causing caseworkers to visit the Manchester apartment multiple times in 2019, 2020, and 2021, several coming after the girl was last seen. Those visits saw the dad tell city officials that the child had went to live with his mom. Now, relatives, including Montgomery's uncle Kevin Montgomery, recounted incidents including spanking, forcing the then 5-year-old to scrub the toilet with her toothbrush, and leaving her standing in the corner for hours, investigators would share. Kevin, again, his uncle, told police that his nephew once admitted to him that he bashed her around this house. That's what he would say. Those would be his exact words. Bashed her around this house. During one instance in 2019, after the father reportedly found her trying to get her younger brother to stop crying while she was bathing him. Now, according to the uncle, Adam Montgomery explained that he had left Harmony, then only 5 years old, in charge of her infant brother while he was in the bathroom. Now, when the baby started crying, Adam said he came out of the bathroom to find Harmony with her hand clamped over her brother's mouth to stop him from crying. According to the affidavit, Adam told Kevin that he responded by striking Harmony in the face and causing the black eye. Now, Kevin Montgomery told police that he reported the 2019 assault to the Department of Children of Youth and their families. And a caseworker visited Montgomery's home in July of 2019 and found the claim Harmony had a black eye unfounded. So they weren't really too sure what to believe at that time. However, the family were identified as high risk of repeat child welfare system involvement and were given referrals for housing supports, this review would state. Now, during a second visit that August, the worker noticed a red mark in Harmony's eye and faded bruising under her eyelid. Now, the worker was told by Harmony and her father that the mark was caused by horseplay with another sibling when a toy lightsaber struck Harmony Montgomery near her eye. Now, two other visits that year showed the children appeared happy and healthy according to the review. Now, the last visit was on October 1st, 2019, and the division didn't have contact with Adam Montgomery again until January of 2020. Now, when he was asked about Harmony, he said the child was living with Sori in Massachusetts. A child protective services worker left a voicemail for Sori, but the call wasn't returned, and there is no evidence of any additional attempts to contact her, according to this review. Now, Adam Montgomery made similar comments about Harmony when a caseworker visited the house twice in 2021, according to the review. In September, a close contact of Harmony's mother contacted the division and raised concerns that Sori hadn't seen her daughter since 2019 and hadn't been able to contact Adam Montgomery, according to the review. Now, the division confirmed that Harmony had never been registered for school in the public school system. The division attempted to find the Montgomery family and speak with Sori, who later told police she hadn't seen her daughter since a FaceTime call around Easter of 2021. Meanwhile, Harmony's 31-year-old stepmom has pleaded not guilty to a felony count of welfare fraud after being accused of collecting $1,500 worth of food stamps in the child's name for a year after her disappearance. Now, in an interview with police on New Year's Eve, Kayla Montgomery, the wife of Adam, who shares 3 children with her husband, ages 4, 2, and 1, Kayla said she last saw Harmony in November or December of 2019. She said her husband was driving Harmony to the child's mother in Massachusetts. She said she believed Harmony had been returned to the mother and never saw or heard about Harmony after that day. And now this is according to a police document. She also told police she hadn't seen Adam since October and had not spoken to him since. Now, Kayla further asserts that the last she saw Harmony was the day after Thanksgiving in 2019. Harmony, she was born in June of 2014 while her father was incarcerated as he was awaiting trial for allegedly shooting a man in the head during a drug deal. Now, Crystal attempted to care for her newborn daughter while battling her substance use disorder. But despite her efforts, DCF received 3 reports of neglect the month Harmony was born. Investigators attempted to provide service to Crystal. However, the neglect continued, with 2 additional reports filed in August of 2014. Officials determined the infant's well-being was at risk and she was removed from Crystal's care. Harmony was placed in a foster home for the first time, and officials worked to develop an action plan for Crystal. And in September of that year, DCF and they devised an action plan with Adam while he was incarcerated, indicating he would engage with offered programs to help with parenting, substance abuse disorder, and anger management. Now, officials made numerous attempts to contact Adam about the plan, but he did not respond to the reports. But he did not respond according to these reports. Now, when DCF finally connected with Adam in December of 2014, he issued support for Harmony to return to Crystal's care. He also asked for a visit with Harmony. Now, the convict, the convict Adam, met his daughter for the first time in January 2015 when she was 6 months old during a supervised visit with her DCF care team. Now, immediately following the visit, Harmony was placed in Crystal's care but remained under the custody of DCF. Now, approximately 4 months later, Harmony, who was at that time 10 months old, she was returned to foster care after Crystal failed to maintain the requirements of her action plan. Now, Harmony remained in foster care until March of 2017 when she was placed back in Crystal's care, but still under the custody of DCF. Now, the girl's mother had met with DCF workers on numerous occasions to monitor her progress and readiness to act as Harmony's guardian. In January, Harmony, now 3.5, was removed from Crystal's care for the third time due to her relapsing. She was placed back into foster care. And this is exactly what I mean by even her biological mother failed her. And I'm not going to try to judge in this situation. If you follow my channel, I've shared with you my story about my mom sharing with me how she was on such a mission when it came to drugs. Those drugs would later take her life as she died of AIDS because of drugs. And so I try not to judge in this matter, but I will say, Crystal, you failed your daughter as well. Adam failed, Kayla failed, DCF failed her. And this is what I mean. Crystal, I mean, again, I'm not gonna, the drugs can really, they can ruin a whole family's world that fast. And what I've learned is it's a very hard habit to kick. So I'm not gonna play judge and jury on her by any means, because it is, again, it's a hard habit to kick. So I'm not going to play that card because I've seen what it does to a family. And in August 2018, Adam resumed supervised visits with Harmony, who was then 4 years old, after having not visited with her for the prior 11 months. Now, he was granted guardianship of his daughter in February 2019, where she seemingly resided until her disappearance. And that was basically like the last time they would see her. Now, state officials have since discerned that the girl, who would now be 8 years old, was repeatedly failed by the Massachusetts child welfare system since infancy, being placed in the care of violent criminal Montgomery despite opposition from her caseworkers. Now, officials also failed to prioritize Harmony's medical and special needs when making decisions about her guardian, which the state said in a scathing report penned by Massachusetts Department of Children and Families should have been central to the decision making. And Harmony's needs, well-being, and safety were not prioritized. And this was according to Massachusetts child advocate Maria Mositas, who said that during a press conference in May of 2022. And she also says, we do not know Harmony Montgomery's ultimate fate, and unfortunately we may never. But we do know that this beautiful young child experienced many tragedies in her short life. and that by not putting her needs first, our system ultimately failed her. And the big time, the father of Harmony Montgomery also tried to pressure his wife into lying to investigators about his dead daughter's whereabouts. And that's what officials have shared. Not only has he been charged with the second-degree murder in connection with Harmony's death, which Manchester, New Hampshire police suspect occurred in early December of 2019. In announcing that he would face a count of second-degree murder, the Attorney General, John Formella, also said that Montgomery would be charged with witness tampering for a suspected attempt to pressure his wife, Kayla. This is Harmony's stepmother, into concealing the girl's death. And now we wait to see what happens too. Now, I'm gonna guess there's more to this. I don't know. Is Kayla in jail right now? I don't know where, is Kayla. There's so much to this story. We're still getting bits and pieces. But in my opinion, this is a big win in getting justice for little Harmony Montgomery. My friends, these are the type of things that blow my mind. It literally should never happen. But truth is, it happens. And that's the whole purpose of this, is how can we do more to prevent it from happening? My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. My whole purpose behind this channel is to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. If that sounds like something you want to follow, please hit that subscribe button. And if you got some value, hit that like, because that tells YouTube you got some value. Hey, others may get some value. Show it to more people. And hey, if you appreciate what I'm doing here and you're willing to support, check out below, buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee if you're appreciating what I'm doing. That lets me know people are appreciating what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, these victims need voices. And I want to keep you updated on what could go wrong to hopefully help you be a little more aware, a little more alert, a little more careful around us. That's the type of world we live in, unfortunately, right? My friends, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to serving you again. Peace. Have a great